What's up, YouTube? Alex Killian here, and today I want to talk about film contests. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say film contests, I'm talking about these submission-based contests that a whole bunch of different companies run every year, in which you can submit your work to win prizes, money, sometimes even opportunities. And there's a few different reasons why companies run these contests. Sometimes companies run these contests to get filmmakers to use their product, like contests from Adobe or Film Supply, the stock video website. Other times, these contests are just a really smart way for companies to get free advertising. They put up some flashy prizes, and creators all over the world give them free ads they can use in their marketing, which is pretty brilliant. And other times, these contests are more of an application process to get a job or an opportunity. But whatever the reason the contest exists, you can gain so much from entering these whenever possible. And today I'm going to tell you 6 reasons I found these contests to be super helpful. Number 1 is an excuse to create. Sometimes we're lucky and we're inspired for long periods of time. We don't need an excuse to create something because the inspiration is already there. It's coming at us like lightning bolts. But other times we get in ruts, and it's really hard to work on something when the spark isn't there. But these film competitions give you an excuse to get your hands dirty and just create something when that inspiration isn't initially there. Number 2 is a deadline. Now, every project goes through ebbs and flows of being really inspired and working really hard on it, and kind of letting it slip to the back of your mind while other things take priority. And when you're creating your own content, when you're working for yourself, it's really easy to spend longer than you need to on a project. But with these contests, you have a deadline. A very real date in which your project has to be finished or the whole thing's a bust. And that's the way it is in real life, so it's a good thing to get used to. Also, deadlines just make it possible to create more and grow faster. Without deadlines, I would never get anything done. Number 3 is feedback, or gauging your work. No one can create in a vacuum. We're all different, and we all have different perspectives and different ways of looking at things. And sometimes when you're creating stuff all by yourself, you can get into these weird places in your mind that make sense to you, but maybe won't be accessible to other people. And so feedback is the quickest way to find all of those things, and all of the things that you could be improving upon. Now, not every contest offers the option of feedback, but a lot of them do. Specifically, Screencraft screenplay competitions always offer the option to get feedback on your screenplays. And it's a little bit extra to get the feedback, but it's always worth it. Feedback always makes us grow. Also, with these contests, you get to see how your work stacks up against other creators. You get to learn how your eye differs from other people, what unique things you bring to the table. And that can be so helpful because when you learn what's different about you, you can really work on developing those things to become something really special. Number 4 is more eyes on your work. Creating things for these competitions gets your work seen by people who wouldn't have seen it otherwise. Depending on the scale of the competition you've entered, the company will have generated a certain amount of buzz surrounding the competition, which drives traffic to your work. And on the smaller scale projects, I think a lot of times the views you're getting are from other filmmakers who entered the contests, trying to size up the competition. But even so, views are views. And those can lead to collaboration with other creators, new subscribers, more people being affected by your work. Not to mention the people judging these competitions that are watching your work. Depending on what the competition is and who's judging it, those can be some extremely powerful eyes watching your stuff. Also, you just never know who's watching. When I entered the Hire Me Maddie competition, I was just thinking about Maddie watching my video. And then even though I didn't get in the top 5, a lot of people saw my video, including someone from a startup company who later reached out to me to make a video for them. So you just never know what these competitions can lead to, and it can't hurt to just make something. Number 5 is experience. I cannot say enough about the value of experience. We learn by doing and doing again and again and again. And if you're entering a lot of these contests, you're getting a variety of experience with a bunch of different styles and formats and areas of filmmaking. Whether you're primarily an editor, a writer, cinematographer, or just all-around creator, there's always a competition that can help you grow your skills. And you're getting experience creating something end-to-end for a deadline, which in itself is reason enough to enter these competitions. That's so valuable. And number 6 is possibilities. Sometimes it's hard to get motivated to work on something if you don't have any clear idea of what it might lead to. For a long time, I had trouble writing screenplays that featured big effects or locations or cinematic sequences that I knew I wouldn't be able to film. It felt pointless to write a story that I wouldn't actually be able to make into reality. But then I discovered these screenplay competitions where if I won, I would actually get to make my film. Now, in a perfect world, I would just create because I love creating and not worry about what might come from it. But that's not really the world I live in. Unfortunately, oftentimes our motivations are tied to our perceived rewards. And so with these competitions, it just gives you that spark of possibility. What might happen if you win? Now, you may have noticed I didn't list the prizes as one of the reasons for entering these contests, and there's a reason for that. I've been entering these contests for years. I've made over 15 different submissions for different contests, and my work has only ever been selected one time. But winning isn't really the value of entering these contests. They are a huge opportunity for growth, and to me, that's just as valuable as whatever prize I might win. Now, I wanted to link to some kind of list of all these competitions that go on every year, but unfortunately no such thing really exists. There's only a few companies that run them consistently every year, so it's kind of hard to plan ahead for these. But if you're plugged into the film scene on your social channels, it's pretty hard to miss them when they pop up. I swear there's at least one going on all the time. So, next time you find yourself without that spark of inspiration, look into what contests are going on and just create something. It can be so valuable. So one other thing, due to the nature of entering a whole bunch of these contests, there will inevitably be a whole bunch of rejection. That's honestly just part of the process, but failing is never easy. Having entered a whole lot of these things and having not won a whole lot of these things, I've had to work on how I deal with rejection, making sure that failure doesn't make me want to give up, but rather inspires me to work harder. And I think this is something that every aspiring filmmaker has to learn. If you can't deal with the rejection, you won't make it very far in this game. So I am planning to talk about that on my next episode. If that's something you're interested in, please come on back. And if you enjoyed this, throw me that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and consider hitting the bell icon so you don't miss any of my new episodes. I'm Alex Killian, and I will see you next time.